Release the Kraken. That's right. Meghan Markle and Netflix, y'all, are desperate. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and they are releasing so much PR fakery. It's actually astonishing. It's like throwing shite in the wind, hoping it's gonna stick. Netflix is bringing out the big guns, spending multiple millions of dollars for billboards in downtown New York City. Meghan Markle, y'all, is now merching her children on Instagram, and she has doubled down with a brand new cringy People magazine interview. So in today's video, we are going to analyze Meghan Markle's desperate marketing campaign to save face and why it's not gonna work or save her train wreck of a cooking show. You guys, we have a lot of juicy royal daily tea to get through today, so you know what to do. Sit back and relax, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get into the royal daily tea. So Netflix and Meghan Markle, y'all, they're in the fourth quarter and they have the ball. They are trying to bring it over the finish line and get a touchdown with Meghan Markle's cooking show, which is debuting, y'all, at midnight tonight. So I think I might have a midnight viewing party if I can stay awake. So Netflix, y'all, has decided to bring out their pocketbook and wrote a really big check to put a huge billboard in downtown New York City, much like Spotify did when they spent all that money on Meghan Markle, and it was a complete and utter flop. At this point, it's like throwing shite in the wind, hoping something will stick. So you could have just taken that check and flushed it down the toilet, but that's neither here nor there. Now, Meghan is on a desperate campaign to save face, to create another fake persona of her being Snow White slash Julia Roberts slash Pamela Anderson slash Catherine, the Princess of Wales slash the Marchioness of Bath. We all know Meghan Markle likes to play single white female, a chameleon, wearing other people's skins and personalities. But now she's really trying hard, y'all, to let everyone know I'm a mom, I'm a hugger, and now I'm a cook. Yeah, it's getting really sad and desperate at this point, but you gotta hand it to her. She definitely is making an A for effort. It's in the fourth quarter, but hey, she's got the ball. Go for it, sis. Try to get that touchdown. The problem is there's not anyone in the bleachers cheering you on. You don't have an audience. You do not have a mass amount of fans. Now, I did find a very interesting person over on Twitter who opened an account on January of this year, and they're all about Meghan Markle. The interesting thing is they have 666 followers. That's a very interesting number, and it's called Meghan Updates, and they have posted 265 times since January of this year. Again, I think Meghan's team might be hiring people to go on social media and to post these positive puff pieces about Meghan Markle winning. I do find it hysterical when I find these fake accounts that are purely puff piece PR for Meghan's team. Again, they just opened in January of 2025 and it's called Meghan Updates. I do find that a little bit suspicious, and it's all posting her propaganda for her upcoming cooking show. Again, they've had quite a few updates since January, but I do love the fact they have 666 followers. That's very telling. Now, we all knew it was going to be a matter of time before Meghan was going to bring out the kids. I do believe that the Christmas card that they did last year, where they showed the back of the kids' heads, was kind of a soft launch. I think Meghan has kind of wanted to showcase her children for quite a while, but Harry was the one who was reluctant. Harry is the one who wants to protect his kids from the British media. The British media. He's the one who believes that social media is dangerous. He needs to protect his kids. But Meghan has wanted to be the Instagram Duchess pretty much since she got married. She wants to, merge the kids. And I believe she's very, very jealous of the fact that the Wells children are growing up in the public eye and that people love them. I don't think she cares for that. We don't even know what her kids look like. So we can't bond with the back of a child's head. So they're always trying to drop these little nuggets of, oh, hey, Archie said the funniest thing yesterday. Lily said the funniest thing yesterday. Who cares? Who gives a rat's ass? Nobody. Okay? We don't need your little breadcrumbs when we can just watch the Wells kids and learn about them from afar. We're fine. You don't even need to show us the back of Archie's head. Really, we're not that interested. But Meghan Markle, y'all, since she returned to Instagram and proclaimed that 2025 was her year, she's returned to her roots of trying to be a wannabe celebrity and Instagram star. Although she says she's not an influencer, I think she's correct there. She's never been an influencer. But she released a very cringy little clip over on her Instagram stories with the auntie Serena Williams playing with Lily. So again, a lot of people picked it apart. It did seem to me like it was kind of a setup that they're trying to merge the game Candyland. Again, nothing with this woman is really authentic. What was the point of sharing this little clip of Serena Williams and your daughter playing a game? Weren't you trying to protect their privacy? What is the point of that? And I believe in the corner there was a message of, oh, just one more day until the release of my cooking show. Again, using her child to clearly merch her upcoming cooking show. In my opinion, this is going to be a big problem for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's marriage in the future because she's going to want to keep showcasing the kids, and I don't believe Harry does. But again, we've called it. We have already known they're going to start bringing out the children, and it's probably going to progress as they get older because Meghan Markle knows she's not that interesting and she needs those kids to make her look like she's a caring mom. She needs to have that persona and able to sell her brand. So we're going to analyze the very cringy and fake People magazine interview. And I really believe that Meghan Markle thinks that we're all stupid and that she can convince us with all of her fakery, of all these fake excuses as to why she does things. Again, get your sick bucket, y'all, because it's very syrupy sweet. So the title says Meghan Markle's most intimate interview in years. Harry, the kids, and getting real about her learning curve. Yeah, this is a very interesting article. So the very first story, y'all, is so fake. It reminds me of the story that Harry told at the Invictus Games about little Archie. Now, the thing I find interesting about Harry and Meghan is they don't let us see their kids. We see the back of their heads. Although Meghan is now starting to incorporate them in her Instagram reels because I think they're getting a little bit desperate. But they always come up with these really off the wall fake stories that nobody believes happened. And if you believed these little stories happened, again, I have some oceanfront property for you in Arizona. These are the most made up, cringiest, fakest stories that I've ever heard in my entire life. So let's paint the picture, y'all, of Meghan Markle. I'm a mom. It says Meghan Markle is curled up in bed with her sleeping 5-year-old son, Prince Archie, on a recent winter evening. In Montecito, California. With her phone in her hand, she catches up on emails, finalizing details for the launch of her renamed lifestyle brand as ever and her new Netflix series, With Love, Meghan. So her husband, Prince Harry, is still in Vancouver wrapping up the Invictus Games. Meghan had joined him for several days, during which she stayed in close touch with her mother, Doria, checking in on Archie and Princess Lilibet, who had both gotten sick. Now, is it me or do their kids appear to always be sick? They've been sick quite a few times. And making sure they were seen by the doctor and sipping bone broth because she's such a caring mom. Now she's savoring the stillness at home with little Archie as he steers awake and he says sleepily, "Mama, don't work too hard." Recalling the moment to People a few days later, the Duchess of Sussex says, "It was the sweetest thing." Really? Don't most parents have cell phones? How many kids see their parents holding a phone? And do they say, "Don't work too hard, Papa. Don't work too hard, Mama"? I mean, the woman works 1 hour a week doing Archwell. She doesn't have a full time job. And she's laying in bed with a cell phone. And her son is so concerned that she's working herself to the bone because she's answering a couple of emails. Really? Do you know we live in 2025 where people are permanently having their cell phones in their hands? And this child has never seen his mother with a cell phone laying in bed. She was probably playing Scrabble or Wordle or whatever it is the hell she says that she plays. "Mama, don't work too hard. Mama." Remember that stupid story that Harry said at the Invictus Games when he was like, "Papa, who are you talking to on the phone?" And he's like, "It's Invictus, Archie. It's Invictus." Like, is this child never seen his parents hold a phone before? Like, it must be this mythical thing, work, that apparently his parents never do because the child was bewildered that his parents were doing that. Or is it the fact that their children never really see their parents? Does he have PTSD when he sees his mom, typing away on her little keyboard? And he's like, "Oh no, mama's going to leave again." So he has to put in, "Don't work too hard." It's odd. I don't know of any 5 and 3-year-old who would say to their parents, "Papa, who's on the phone? Mama, don't work too hard." She's laying in bed. I don't think she's working that hard. I just found this another interesting fake story that Harry and Meghan are always trying to paint that they are the hardest working parents out there and that they're making sacrifices for their children to comment on. And then she goes on to say, like any entrepreneur, Meghan has tackled the hard work of launching a new business, but unlike most, she has done so under an intense spotlight. Aw, poor Meghan. In March of 2024, her initial brand, American Riviera Orchard, debuted online. And then, of course, a month later, she handed out her jam to a bunch of rich D-list celebrities. And anticipation grew. Questions arose about when the products would be available, while behind the scenes, she navigated trademark issues. Say it ain't so, Meghan. Say it ain't so. She says, "There was a ton of twists and turns, and even with the name." She says, "In her most intimate interview in years, I was figuring it out in real time." We know, Meghan, we know. And that was absolutely the wrong thing to do. You figure it out before you launch it. And although she has faced intense public scrutiny at every step, Meghan says the experience has been defined by growth. She said, "I appreciate everyone who gave me the grace to make mistakes and figure it out, and also to be forgiving with myself through that." I think Meghan forgives herself quite a bit. It's a learning curve, she says. As Meghan builds her brand, she also continues to expand her life in Montecito. 5 years have passed since she and Harry made the seismic decision to, quote, "step back from royal duties," meaning they quit, in the UK and chart their own path, but their titles remain. So now she's going to talk about why she still calls herself the Duchess of Sussex. She says, Meghan says the Sussex name bestowed upon her and Harry by the late Queen Elizabeth on their wedding day in 2018 holds a deeper significance than could have been imagined before motherhood. She said, quote, "It's our shared name as a family, and I guess I hadn't recognized how meaningful that would be to me until we had children." She says, I love that this is something that Archie, Lily H, and I have together. It means a lot to me. The Sussex name, she adds, is part of our love story. Oh, it's the salt and pepper and the peanut butter and the jelly of Meghan and H. No, sis, it means you don't want to drop your royal title. You still want to be called the Duchess of Sussex. You're not Meghan Sussex. You go by Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. So I like how she's trying to dumb it down for us and act like we're a bunch of idiots and we don't understand why she's keeping a royal title. And it makes zero sense. So you're trying to tell me that if the title went away, you wouldn't be Princess Henry Mountbatten Windsor? I mean, aren't you proud to be married to your husband? And other people are going to be like, oh, that's their family name. That's why she has the title. So she's trying to explain to us why they're keeping their titles. But again, I don't think anyone's falling for it. Now, with her new series debuting on March 4th on Netflix, she is sharing her personal passions, including cooking, hostessing, and decorating, with her biggest audience yet. She said, when your children get to a certain age, when you're not just playing in the sandbox with them, but almost playing in your own sandbox again, it's super joyful. Huh? As a woman, as a mom, and as a wife, to be able to find yourself again in a way that was always present, but that, maybe you couldn't put as much attention on as you now can when your kids are a little bit older. It's a wonderful feeling. Meghan, I don't think your kids have ever gotten in the way of you doing anything. How many trips have you been on without your children for weeks on end when they were under the age of 3? Plenty. You don't seem to have a problem leaving your kids for long periods of time to work on your own personal pet projects. Just saying. Not to mention you have staff and maids and nannies and your mother, more help than 99% of the people out there. So cry me a river, sis. It says, although the couple's 2022 Netflix docuseries, The Record-Breaking Harry and Meghan, famously pulled back the curtain of their struggles within the royal family, this time there's no mention of anything royal. Harry himself makes only a fleeting appearance in the final episode, but his presence was felt behind the scenes. So the other thing about Harry and Meghan, which I always find very unauthentic and weird, is that they always need to have a source, a friend close to the couple, someone who worked with them, always speaking out positively like a cheerleader for the couple, because they always have to convince people that they're nice and that they're so in love and that they're so happy. Why do they have to constantly do that? If that was a real fact, people would just know, people would see. Again, Catherine and William don't have tons of puff pieces coming out trying to convince everyone they're happily married, they have a happy family, they're fulfilled in their work. But Harry and Meghan always have to have one of Meghan's minions speaking on their behalf to the press to let the world know how in love they are, how amazing, how kind. They always have to have a minion or a friend, but here they have a quote, a crew member. So this crew member said, whenever Harry visited set, he was always super polite and friendly. A crew member tells People, but it was clear he wanted this to be Meghan's moment to shine. Now we all know that really means Harry doesn't want anything to do with the show, but he was forced to make an appearance to make Netflix bosses happy. That's what it really means. So this People interview, guys, is really long, and it's like boring. I'm falling asleep reading it, but I'm going to skip over some of the parts and just kind of summarize it for you. They talked about how she gave up the TIG, her passion project, because she sacrificed it for the love of her husband. But now he's got a sparkle in his eye and he's all happy to watch Meghan Markle be creative once again. It's like a honeymoon. She's returning back to her roots, back to doing the things that she loves when Harry first met her. Then they talked about her time on Suits and how, of course, she's besties with Abigail Spencer's, but forgot to mention how she literally doesn't talk to anyone else on the cast. And then she mentioned how the cooking show got her out of her comfort zone because she's in the camera more on the cooking show than she was in her 7 years on Suits. Now, I did find that rather interesting. So then they had to sprinkle in another person who was singing the praises of Meghan Markle. Now, the director of the show, Michael Steed, who previously worked with Anthony Bourdain on Parts Unknown, came out singing her praises. He said, quote, "Everyone has this one version of her, but she's someone who is hustling and working and doing. I genuinely wanted to create an environment where she could relax, and I know the pressures of what she deals with on the daily basis. I was happy that we created scenes where she could tap into that part of her life." Sorry, I fell asleep there. Now, along with her domestic skills that she's going to debut on her show with Love Meghan, it also highlights her own product line, which will be available on asever.com. It's as ever, but it looks like Asever. Again, the worst name ever. Now, according to them, the products will be available on our website sometime in the spring. I don't think that's happening. Now, they also mentioned, you guys, Meghan Markle will be dropping another season of Archetypes on her Lemonada podcast that is coming out sometime in the spring. So it seems like we're going to have more and more content to just keep working with. Now, Meghan also said she's not the traditional trade wife, that she is instead a hybrid between the two. She says, "I like being able to be a hybrid. Chinese food delivery is a favorite, but even when I get takeout, I will try to plate it beautifully." You're the only person I know who will take Chinese takeout and decide to waste a clean plate and plate it. Again, ridiculous. But even when I get takeout, I try to plate it beautifully. She encourages others to strive for balance, not perfection, despite her show's beautiful imagery. The series is about doing what you can, she says, and doing it with love. Because Meghan looks like she's such a warm and cuddly person, doesn't she? Now, another thing that I noticed about her is, of course, they're really trying to hone in on the fact that Meghan has friends and that she's a part of the community. And of course, they want to showcase the private home life they have in Montecito. In my opinion, they kind of ripped this from the Waleses, because if you remember, the Waleses moved to a very small house, Adelaide Cottage, where they don't have any help. They don't have any live-in cooks or maids or nannies. It's just the five of them in a very small, intimate home where their kids perform normal chores around the house. You could tell they're very much a family unit. So now Meghan, in my opinion, kind of tapped into that, saying that she didn't want to film in her home because she didn't want up to 80 crew members in her private sanctuary where she sits in the kitchen with her kids and she cooks mama meals for the family. So therefore, that's why they rented the home, is they didn't want people in their home. Again, she's really trying to play up the Susie homemaker, the Snow White, and I'm a mom, trying to combat all of the rumors that we have been saying for years about people saying that she's not a mom and she's not domesticated and she's never home. Now she's also talking about how she's a part of the community and she has all of these mom friends, and the community really embraced her and they all came together. And she talks about how she goes to yoga classes and she's made so many mom friends, and they have low-key birthday parties together and play dates with their children, and people just love her. Again, there's been so many reports coming out where people don't see them, that Meghan and Harry are not a part of the community. People can't stand them. But now she's painting herself as Mother Teresa, and all the moms love her, and she's well known in the community, and they have all of these friends, literally trying to combat all of the negative rumors. And she also goes on to describe how her family is a very close-knit family, and she loves all of their private moments that they have together, like putting Lily down for a nap, having lunch together, having sacred time together at the end of the day. Our kitchen is where Mama just cooks for the family. And of course, we didn't want to have that huge amount of people in our home filming. We wanted to keep it just for us. Again, I feel like she kind of stole that from the Waleses. And the story all goes on and on and on. Then she goes on to talk about how she's building a legacy to show her daughter about a working mother, her mother being an entrepreneur, and how this is her legacy, and how her children came to the set and they were so proud of their mom. You know, they put on these little headsets and they got to listen to the show. I just find it very strange how it's all about celebrating Meghan and all of Meghan's accomplishments because she's such a feminist. It's all about girl power. She says, I hope that when they get old enough, they feel really proud that they were a part of the beginning of this with me. The beginning of what? A failure? Being able to have my own little girl, as I've spent so much of my life championing the rights of girls and women, and to be able to see this as a multi-generational story. Archie is, of course, included in that. My husband is, of course, included in that. But I love the heritage feeling of it and knowing that this is something that I can create in front of my daughter and teach her what it's like to be a working mom. There is something that hopefully can be part of her legacy too. Again, they're really trying to make it where Meghan is just such a working mom, does everything behind the scenes. Oh my goodness, she's on her phone and poor little Archie's worried about her working too hard. It's the most laughable thing I've ever seen in my life. So if you want to read it, y'all can click. It'll be in the description. It's super long, super boring, and super fake. She's just trying to combat all of the negative stories just in time for her cooking show because she wants to make sure everyone is buying this fake persona. But what do y'all think? Do you think it's a little too late for people to like Meghan Markle? I think people's minds are kind of made up at this point. Now, I am going to be watching the cooking show so I can report back to you guys so you don't have to watch it. I will take one for the team. But let me know what y'all think about these very desperate marketing campaigns that Meghan Markle and Netflix have taken to. Do you think it's going to work and it's going to convince anyone to like Meghan and to watch her show? Leave me your comments, guys, down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope to see y'all in the next video. Bye, guys.